Most business owners, they never escape this thing I call the operator trap. I have felt it. I've been in it. It's that thing where you're like always busy, like you're always on. It doesn't matter whether you're waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and like everything's on your mind. You're going to sleep late at night. You're having dinner with friends or family, but you're not present there with them, right? It's because of this operator trap. You might relate to what I just said. I understand what that's like. You're like always in the weeds with everything. So, it started to dawn on me several years ago. What if there was a way to really unlock and unleash growth and step away from the day to day without me actually being involved in all of those kinds of things? Because that's why I got into business, right? It wasn't to get a job. It was to be free to do other kind of fun, enjoyable things and have that fun. I remember a show that I saw ages ago, and in the show, they said the family business is for the benefit of the family. And that was very, very powerful to me. But what does that matter if you're doing all this stuff all the time? Well, in this video, what I want to do is I really want to break down, 5 of my biggest mindset shifts that I kind of went through that took me from constantly running the businesses that I have into really thinking about how do I design these businesses so that they can run without me, because that was the key to everything that I was trying to do. Look, if you stick around to the end of this video, I will show you the shift that finally helped my team to really take ownership of the systems that we have without me having to babysit them, because that was part of the big problem that I had, is just babysitting all the little details that were going on. So I'm Brett from brettcpayne.com. And if you're tired, like I was, of being the engine and you're ready to become here's the word I'm going to give you today, the architect, then this video is your blueprint. I'm going to help you with that. So let me give you these 5 mindset shifts that I kind of took on. The first one is to stop running it and to start designing it. I've already alluded to this, right? Because we're the ones who started the business. We came up with the systems, we came up with the structure, but then we also end up, after it's running, we're the ones that are getting the things done and we're solving the problems, and we have to kind of be everywhere. But the problem is, if you're doing all these things, you can't design your business. I sit down with business owners all the time. I just did it this morning, and they're just buried in these operational things, and it takes time to step away from it to actually answer some very simple questions that I like to ask business owners when I'm sitting with them, when they're away from everything and they're sipping a cup of coffee with me, and I go, hold on, take a breath. Where do you want this thing to go? And it's literally, they just stop and look at me like, I've never had anybody ask me that before, because I'm so busy thinking about these things. And sometimes I have to literally force business owners to get away from everything, sit down in a quiet place, no distractions, and just talk to me, just dream a little bit. Well, when you start to do that, and I hope you've had a chance to do that, but one of the mindset shifts that you have to have is taking time to set that aside so that you're not just doing the stuff, but you're designing your future, right? Like, you are going to go to the place that you think about. And if you're thinking about problems all the time, you're just going to go to more problems every single day. If you think these problems are going away, I'm going to tell you, after years and years and years of stuff, they're not going to go away. So what you have to do then is shift your mindset to where you're not thinking about the problems, but you're thinking about the direction you're going to go. And when you can see it, then you will go to that place. But that's never going to happen until you start to take the mind shift of, I'm not going to be just a builder, I'm going to be a designer. Design where it is that you want to go in your business. How many people do you want to have working for you? What kind of clients do you want to have? What do you want life to be like when you go away for 30 days and your business operates without you? It's those kinds of things, right? Mindset shift number 2 that I had to deal with was hustle becomes a handicap. Now, when from the very beginning, when I started in business and started nonprofits and I worked overseas and I did a number of different things, I was always the one that just outworked everybody. I literally had somebody send me a text just right before I got here to where I'm at now, and they said, I'm really impressed by your structure and your commitment to getting things done. Well, I do believe in hustle, right? But and you have to have hustle. There's a great guy that everybody knows, Gary Vee, right? His whole pitch is about hustle. Shirts with hustle. I've had them. You've had them. It's all about hustle. But the part of that he may not be sharing with you, but it's absolutely true in his life, is that hustle is only one side of the coin. That the other side of the coin are the systems and the structures and the design part of it. Gary Vee talks about, posting here and doing this and, gazillion times a day, but that's not accidental, right? You can't just hustle your way through that thing. And the mindset that has to happen to change is to realize it doesn't matter how hard you work. There is a point of diminishing returns where it doesn't matter how much you hustle, you're not going to be able to move your company forward. This is a frustration that you may have. And if you do, you can let me know about that maybe in the comments. But we are so driven by this message of hustle that we believe it, but at the same time, we're not seeing the ROI from our effort. And that becomes really a problem. And the way that you have to adjust that is that you have to go, wait a second, me just working harder is not going to solve this particular problem. The way to solve the problem is that you have to design around that better. You have to, again, go back to the architect idea. You have to structure it better, because otherwise, if you just hustle, all you're going to do is create for yourself a prison. And if you're in that prison, that's why we're talking right now. If you want to build a business that doesn't depend on you, I really do encourage you to subscribe to this channel. The whole thing is about this idea. Mind shift number 3. Think like a franchise architect. Okay, you might not have a franchise. That's okay. I've built several franchises. I typically think in this idea, but even when I didn't have a franchise, one of the first things I ever did was right after I got out of the university, I moved to the Ukraine and I started educational institutes, a whole bunch of other things, but I was very young. I was 25, I think, when I did that. I started one and I thought, well, if I can do one, I can do more. I ended up with 26 accredited college campuses around the Ukraine. I think at the time it was the biggest US-based accredited college campus system in the country. And it still exists. Isn't that cool? But that was not a franchise, but it certainly was the notion of scaling. So mindset shift that you have to make is to think like a franchise architect. If you haven't watched that movie about McDonald's, you should watch that movie, but you should watch it for sure, because it will take you through this process of, if I start with something, how do I replicate that thing? You might not want 40 locations of anything, but the notion of franchise scaling is not because the founder, it's called the founder. I just realized that. It's not because the founder hustled more. It's because of the systems that the founder put in place. So when you're looking at your business and you're thinking about how you want to grow that, founders that think like a franchisor, what they do is they design once and they replicate it over and over and over. They remove the chaos by designing it once. And even if you never want to franchise, you really should build your business with that same kind of clarity. So let me ask you something. What's one part of your business that you can't seem to step away from? Can you let me know about that? I'd love to hear about that in the comments, because maybe we could talk about that online somehow. Mind shift number 4. Own the outcome, not the task. Another thing that I have written down that I try to follow all the time. This one changed everything for me. I used to be in every task, every sales call, payroll, onboarding. Now I am not in the details of those things. I want to own the outcome of that. And I want my team, the people who work for me, I want them to own the tasks of that. And there's a huge difference between doing the thing and ensuring that the thing gets done. I often say to people, if you're the founder of a company or you start a company, whether you have the title or not, you are the CEO. You might even have the title CEO, right? Chief Executive Officer. Pick that word right in the middle, okay? Executive. A CEO's job is to cause the people who work with them and work for them to execute on the ideas that they have as the CEO, as the leader, the chief, right? So when you can get into that mindset of, my job is not to do all the tasks, my job is to get the outcome of the tasks, and I am to empower the people around me to do the tasks for me. And you're saying to me right now, Brett, I don't have 5 people that work for me. I don't have one person that works for me, or I have 40 people, whatever it is. You are never going to have people work for you. I'm going to talk to you if you don't have anybody with 1 or 2. You're never going to have people work for you if you don't create the container that they can step into. So what does that mean? That means that you might have a hope that one day someone will do A, B, and C for you. Well, if you want them to do that thing, why don't you define the container? Why don't you spend the time writing the standard operating procedure? If I had this person to do this, this is what they would do. This is what the tasks look like. If somebody walked into my office or I met them at Walmart, or I sat down at a restaurant, I knew that they were like the perfect person for my company, but I didn't know what they were going to do. If I had the container, I could then say, wait a second, that person can fit perfectly into this thing. So you want to design ahead of time where you want people to land, okay? You don't want to get the people and then create around them. Design as an architect. And I promise you, the moment you start designing roles for your company, whether you have the cash flow for it or the finances, the backing or whatever, you just have a vision, right? Like you know where you're going to go. You have the vision of where you're going to go and you create the containers for those particular people, then those people will show up and they will fulfill what you want them to execute on. Mind shift number 5, a system owner, not a system updater. Here's where it really gets serious, okay? At first, you are going to be the one that is going to build the SOPs, the standard operating procedures for your company. And then you're going to maintain them. But really where it's going to break through for you is when you have a team that owns the SOPs, they own the playbook, meaning they are now the ones who are updating it. They trust it, they use it, it's there for them. That's when your system and all of the structures that you're putting together, that's when they really stop kind of collecting dust. It starts to breathe because you're not just the one creating these standard operating procedures, but you're creating them, you're providing them to your team, they're following them, and then you're saying to the people in sales and marketing and operations and all these kinds of different things, you own these SOPs. As things change, make it a breathing document for you, keep it living, adjust it, let me know what the adjustments are, but then all of a sudden they're using these as really the playbook, not just something to kind of sit on the side. If you're wondering how to keep your systems alive without constantly checking in, that's what I cover next. So I'd encourage you to watch the next video, Keeping Your Playbook Alive Without Babysitting It. You're going to be super impressed with what you gain from this. The link is in the description for that video, Keeping Your Playbook Alive Without Babysitting It. Take some time and watch that for sure, okay? Until you make these identity shifts that we've talked about from being an operator to an architect, you will always be the bottleneck. Earlier today, in one of the companies that I have, there was a number of things that were going on. I'll tell you what they were. We started doing a new kind of marketing for a company that has nothing to do with anything I've talked about so far, a completely different thing. You know what happened? We got inundated with leads, right? The leads were coming in and my staff was texting me these leads while I'm sitting in a meeting with another client. And what they were saying to me is, Brett, can you respond to this person, this person, this person, this person? Well, what I said to them was, when we start doing this lead acquisition, then I will be the first one to do the sales calls. Why? Because I have to create and design the pitch, right? Well, I didn't know they were going to do it today. Man, I got hammered. I'm not kidding. There were probably 15 people. Boom, boom, boom. They just kept coming in. And my team was like, Brett, can you answer me? Can you answer me? And I was like, I can't. Like I'm in my vehicle or I'm in a meeting or what, something I couldn't do. I can do it in a couple hours. But then as I was driving my vehicle, voice messaging them, right? I said to them, look, guys, I'm talking to them. I'm the bottleneck. This thing that I'm talking about right now, it happens all the time. I said, I'm the bottleneck, but here's how I'm going to solve it. I'm going to solve it within the next couple of hours. I'll tell you right now how I'm going to solve it. I am going to write an SOP about how to respond to these leads that are coming in. And then I'm going to do a little funny thing with AI. We can talk about that in some other videos. And I'm going to train a staff member using Loom how to exactly answer the leads that are coming in, to put them on my calendar so that I told them, as of tomorrow, I will no longer have to answer these questions. We'll have the entire process in place. Why? Because I am a designer on the spot, right? I'm not going to wait till next week. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to implement right now. If you want to see how to keep your systems alive like that without being the one who updates them, because I'm not going to do it. I was the bottleneck. Definitely watch this next video, Keeping Your Playbook Alive Without Babysitting It. And that's where the handoff is really, really going to stick.